Good evening, everybody. Hello there, hello. There are some seats. There are some seats up here if you'd like to sit down. The second row here, and if you have a seat nearby you, raise your hand. There's some seats up here. It is terrific to have everybody here. Let's just take a deep breath and soak this moment in for a second as the sun sets behind us and we think about what this day represents. This is one of these unscripted moments for President Choha. My notes consist of this right here, which has just a couple of words on it. What was said back there? I'm going to preach. You want me to preach for the next 90 minutes? Okay, here we go. I truly mean it. I mean, I was just standing with John here a little bit ago, and I told him, I said, just soak this in. The people, the environment, the purpose, the student impact, it is all what I think he had dreamed of and more, as he just described. I want to begin by, there are so many people to thank. By the way, my name is Jim Choha. Juniata's 12th president. There are so many people to thank, from architects to our facilities team, to our faculty, to our students, to our staff, to our trustees. I mean, you think about the journey for which this building emerged, spanning 3 presidencies here at Juniata. And we get to celebrate it today, and among friends and family. And there is a number I wrote on this piece of paper, John. The number is 1,444. The day was November 12th, 2013. I was roughly 5 months old in this job. Gabe Welsh and I traveled to New Jersey to see you and Irene in your living room. Right. And it seems like just yesterday I met you for the first time. The goal was to just thank you and Irene for all that you had meant for this college for years before, because the Dale name is represented on this campus in numerous ways. But my purpose that day was to understand what your dreams were moving forward.
I thought it was to get more money.
That too. Spoken like a true trustee. The end result is what that meant, yes. It was to get more money to do what we've done here before, but it was to understand what your vision was for what is standing behind me. And you had 3 requests. Those requests were, do it while I'm alive, Jim. Thankfully, we've done that. You need to be with us here for the next 30 minutes. So stay with me. Number 2, you wanted that stone. You wanted that stone on the building that came from a quarry that has roots to your family and your father, as you told me. And we were able to do that. And number 3, you wanted the rights to name the building.
I hope I didn't make a mistake.
You did not make a mistake. So, why don't I just invite John Dale to come up here and provide remarks? I've never had this happen before. You are... you're President Dale, would you like us time at the podium? And so we reserve that right. And in all seriousness, in true Juniata fashion, you did the naming rights with the humility and the compassion and the selflessness that has come to represent this institution since 1876, and that is you named it for somebody other than yourself. And that is a pretty cool thing. That's a pretty cool thing. So 1,444 days.
That's 12 squared.
12 square. Since we sat in your living room on November 12th, 2013, we are here today to celebrate and dedicate this facility in honor of Tom and Pat Kepple. So with that as the background, John, I just want to say to you and Irene and to your entire family, the Juniata students, the faculty, and staff say thank you for your generosity, for your vision to making today a reality. Please join me in thanking John and Irene. Lauren Bowen, come on up, and I wish you all the best as you try to share whatever remarks you have. They won't be good enough. Let me just say that. Thank you again for being here. Thank you again for sharing in this day and in this historic moment. We don't get a chance to do this very often, to dedicate a new building on our campus. It's a rare moment, so thank you for being here today. Let me introduce Dr. Lauren Bowen, our Chief Academic Officer and Provost.
So my trifecta is that I frequently have the opportunity to speak after the president and all that that entails. They also reminded me that I am shorter than the average presenter, and so I have this microphone. And now I have the added thrill of having John Dale in the audience as I frame some remarks. I came to Juniata College in the summer of 2014, and within my first few weeks, I had the opportunity to sit with John Dale and hear his vision for this space. And following that, John, Jim, and I sat with the architect, Baird, who is here. Baird, there he is. And with the faculty in the departments of art and art history. From the very beginning then, and when I entered the conversation, when all of this was just an idea, it was so abundantly clear to all of us, and especially to me, that John and Irene Dale wanted to support the arts and the creative enterprise and ensure the centrality of that kind of expression in the teaching and learning environment and the spirit of inquiry at Juniata. I later had the opportunity to meet Irene a few months. We were in Philadelphia, and as I listened to her talk, we had some designs then, and I listened to her talk about what she imagined for this space. And if you had a chance to walk through this space, what I want to share with you a little bit is that it is so quintessentially Juniata, and that what it represents for our students and all that the opportunities they're going to have, that your imagination and your vision, we will take it from here and we will carry it forward for generations with that spirit of inquiry, that spirit of exploration. When the president and I spoke earlier today to prospective students, we talked about Juniata as a place of self-discovery. And what a better way to understand that, and walk to the space. As one of you said, one of our students cried when she saw this space and knew what was going to be possible for her. I talked to a couple of the faculty this evening, and they were reminding me where they were, teaching to their best, and of course bringing out the best in our students. But to be able to have a place where you can have full, instead of a door, you've got a garage and the scope and what our students can imagine, what they can design. When we developed the attributes of a Juniata graduate a couple of years ago, we of course included this, that we want all Juniata graduates to experience different ways of knowing about the self, aesthetics, human cultures, and social and natural worlds. That inclusion, that conversation happened after, of course, John and Irene articulated the vision for this building, and that inclusion then is a logical outgrowth of their vision and all that we value at Juniata. And so we imagined it initially as a building for art. We now understand it as a building for studio art and integrated media arts. And if you think about the attributes of a Juniata graduate, we go on to say that we are so deeply committed to integrating the different ways of knowing, of connecting disciplinary traditions, and that's what will happen, has been happening in this space. And finally, I would say that when we think about being quintessentially Juniata, it is that deep commitment, as we talked about earlier today, to interdisciplinary inquiry, but the kind of inquiry that then makes a difference in the communities in which we live. And what's happening in this space, what's happening for our students, the kind of energy our faculty provide, is already having an impact on Huntington, Pennsylvania. The presence of the arts in Huntington is so much stronger because of this space and the ways in which students are learning. Our faculty are part of that enterprise. They are bringing the community to this space. We will soon host Art Walk in the Kepple building. So the way the space was imagined, the way it's being used, suggests that those commitments draw on our very identity as a place that values personalized and individualized education. And it does so in a way that's true to our tradition and our roots, but is also adaptive and contemporary and visionary as it anticipates the skills and experiences that prepare our students to live lives of joy and meaning. We are so very grateful to you. I want to acknowledge my faculty who do so much to strengthen the experience for our students, and I want to honor our students who animate this space each and every day. Thank you all.
That was very good. John, be easy on me. You know, this is a great moment in the life of Juniata College. When you look behind me, you can see what philanthropy does. This is what philanthropy does. Makes a big difference for our students, makes a big difference for our faculty, which makes a big difference in the value proposition of our college. And you can see it right here. I talked to a student, probably back there somewhere, as we were walking through there, and they said, you know, I didn't even know all the people that were in my major because we were spread out in so many different places. We didn't ever interact. We didn't get the chance to be together and to collaborate. Well, now you can, and thank you, Irene and John. Irene and John were a big part of what I like to refer to as the great Kepple years, and they were great. Tom the Builder, but I'm beginning to think it's Pat the Builder, but it may be Pat the Builder. And Irene and John really, in showing respect to those great Kepple years, have dedicated this building to Pat and Tom. And for that, we thank the Dales very, very much. And with that, making this a reality, I want to bring up Pat Kepple.
Thank you. I'm glad we got my part done before it gets dark, because I won't be able to read it if it gets dark. I want to thank everybody for being here today. And I want to especially welcome all of Tom and my neighbors who came. And I mean that literally, all of them came. So Mary Ann and Gary Norton and Margaret and Dick Sprott and Judy and Bob Mealy, thank you so much for coming out of the woods to be here today. Yeah. And I also would like to thank my sister-in-law, Tom's sister, Sally Kepple, who journeyed all the way from Tupelo, Mississippi to be here today. And we really appreciate you sharing this great moment with us. And again, thanks to everybody for coming. This is just so special. Wow. Tom and I are so honored that the Dales elected to name this wonderful new facility after us. Irene and John, is Irene back there? Is she on the video? Yeah. Okay. Well, hi, Irene. We can't begin to thank you enough. As many of you know, this was a secret until we had the groundbreaking. And the only question I have is, how on earth in this small campus did you keep it a secret? Y'all are good, I'm telling you.
I've wondered about that myself.
You did, yeah. Being the first spouse, or first lady, or presidential spouse, or presidential partner, or my favorite, the trailing spouse. Whatever the title du jour is, being that for 15 years was it was an amazing experience. During my reign, I met so many wonderful people, trustees, faculty, staff, students, alumni. Tom and I will certainly cherish the friendships we made here. And certainly our friendship with the Dales is at the top of that list. So in case you're wondering, I asked if I could say a few words today because I wanted to give my personal thanks to this special occasion. To Irene and John, not only was it a surprise that you put Tom's name on the building, I was stunned that you put my name on there too. You know, it would have been perfectly acceptable and shorter to just use Tom's name. So you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to add my name, but you did. And I don't even have the words to explain to you what that means to me. So to Irene and John, my profound gratitude to you. Thank you for recognizing both Kepples in this special way. Thank you.
I shared my speech with Jim and Pat to be sure that we didn't duplicate each other. And sure enough, they've taken the whole thing. But I've got a couple sentences left. You know, John didn't have a dream for this building, and he didn't have a vision for it. He had a plan. And those of you who know John know exactly what that means. He was going to get this one done. And he was going to do a number of things. You've heard of the 3 things that he negotiated with Jim, but there were some other things as well. He wanted a building that would connect the residential part of the campus to the academic part of the campus. And indeed, I think our architect, Baird Dixon, did a wonderful job of doing that. So thank you, Baird, wherever you are out there. Oh, there you are. Thank you. He wanted a plan that could be expanded in the future in case things change, and they will change, as we know. And of course, this building can be expanded as well in the future. He was determined to get this one done. And I use the word determined advisedly, I think. Determined in a way that made this building possible. We just wouldn't be here today without John's vision and his help and ultimately his plan to get this done. So to John and to Irene, you've been so instrumental, not just in this building, but to Juniata and to the Kepple presidency. I want to say thank you. Thank you again. And that's it.
So I saved some good news for the last part of the agenda, and that is, as we think about this building behind us, John, the cash and pledges that have been made in support of this building now cover the complete cost of this construction. So, in true presidential fashion, I will say, though, this building costs some money, so we will always accept gifts to support the endowment of the operations of the building. But the construction is done. And a lot of that had to do with that visit back in November 12th, 2013, John, as we began to imagine what was happening here today. John, you're not done yet, so come on up here for a second while I present to you. And Pat and Tom, why don't you come up? You can help present this to John. And Irene, if you are out there in the world that is the internet, I hope you can see this. We thought we would provide you with a little token of our appreciation and really in support of all that you gave to make this building a reality. This was a painting that was done by a local artist, Rick Hamilton. I don't know if Rick is here. Is Rick here? I don't see him, but this is a watercolor of the new Kepple Hall. And John, thank you very much.
Very nice, very nice.
I'm afraid to ask this question, but I will. John, you are so close to the mic. Did you want to say anything? I know you had said that you didn't need it, but I'm just,
I just have about 200 words.
okay. Ladies and gentlemen, John Dale.
You've heard a lot of wonderful things about Irene and myself, and I hope my kids who are sitting up here will understand that. Stick with it. And, you know, people say they're so thankful that we have done this, and I just tell them, well, I'm very glad to be in a position to be able to do it. So I am glad. I'm very happy about the building. People have told me they walk down here and it looks like it's always been here. I'm especially glad that Irene and I lived long enough to see it. And I can't think of really anything else to say. So thank you very much.